meeting him, can't even pretend to imagine what it was like to be him. History tells us we should revere
Hank Aaron
not so
passed
much for
away.
the home runs Hank Aaron hit, for the way he carried himself before and after breaking Babe Ruth's record. A record that still stands in the eyes of many. The home runs actually distracted from just
755 career home runs was most of the time in 2007 when Barry Bonds broke that.
He was underappreciated. Tim Kirchin will give us a better understanding of this legendary man. A caution, there is sensitive language.
And I will say, viewer discretion is advised.
Hank Aaron is the all-time leader in RBIs and total bases. He was the game's home run king for 33 years, and he played in 25 All-Star games. Yet, he was still underrated in part because he was not flashy. He hit 755 homers, but never 50 in a season. He was remarkably consistent, but he was overshadowed by more charismatic players in bigger markets.
If Hank had played in New York like Mantle and Mays, we all know it would have been a different story. He was stuck in Milwaukee. I know they were in the World Series in 57, 58.
The Milwaukee Braves.
Spotlight. But other than that, it really wasn't until he was getting into that Ruth territory that the spotlight finally shone on him the way that it should have all along.
Born in the segregated Alabama, baseball was Aaron's way out. A star in the Negro Leagues, his 23-year Major League career began with the Milwaukee Braves in 1954, but in 1966 the Braves moved to Atlanta, putting Aaron back in the Deep South, where he had worked so hard to escape.
And later, Atlanta got the Atlanta Hawks from St. Louis, and they got a pro hockey team called the Atlanta Flames in
Atlanta is considered the capital of the New South.
The Civil Rights Movement had already shocked the New South. Here comes a phrase that's on their team, but still had that dignity. Don't mess with him. Don't talk down to him.
In 1974, Aaron was on the cusp of breaking the home run record that had been held for 40 years by an American icon, Babe Ruth. Aaron received death threats and racially driven hate mail up to 3,000 letters a day.
Hank, there's three things you can't give a nigga: a black eye, a punk lip, or a job. Things like this really makes me push just that much harder.
Hank saved all those hateful letters in a box in the attic. And at one point I said to Hank, there's no denying that that's true. But has that obscured for you the fact that millions and millions of Americans, not just black Americans, admired and respected you? His face softened and he said, I know that's true, but it still doesn't change what I had to go through.
For him to stay focused and hit 756 home runs, and I just don't understand it. I don't get it. You know, the guy hit 300 or 400 home runs in the major league. He's like a god. What's higher than a god? Hank Aaron.
On April 8, 1974, Aaron hit his 715th home run, passing the Babe as the all-time home run king.
Here's the pitch by Downing, swinging. Here's the drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
A record thought to be untouchable was broken by an African American. As Aaron stood at home plate, with teammates and family surrounding him, with tears of relief in his eyes, he said,
I just thank God it's all over with. Thank you very much.
That poker face of Aaron shows the tremendous relief.
That's been Scully's voice.
Marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
Hank Aaron hit more home runs than Babe Ruth, drove in more runs than Lou Gehrig, scored more runs than Willie Mays, and had over 12 more miles in total bases than the runner-up, Stan Musial.
Aaron played 2 more seasons after breaking Ruth's record, then looked across another racial divide.
I'm looking forward to one day that a black will be able to run a professional ball club And I'm hoping that that black will be me.
You would not consider him to be commissioner or a front office person. With the exception of Ted Turner's sensitive in reaching out, Hank Aaron would be out on baseball.
Wow, starting nothing. Second largest season opening day.
Front office job with the Braves in
That's their first game of the
1976
season.
and worked
Started
for
with
the
delay
club
because
in
of
several
COVID.
capacities for over 40 years.
7-0.
He will best be known as one of the greatest players of all
About
time.
2 yokes?
But his
All right.
lasting legacy will be the grace with which he carried himself through the breaking of Ruth's record and the dignity he showed when his record was surpassed, some say fraudulently, by Barry Bonds in 2007. Aaron
Yeah,
was
some people
not
say
just a
that
Hall of Fame
Bonds
player,
took steroids.
but a
With
civil
like
rights
Roger Clemens,
activist,
Mark McGuire,
a
Sammy
recipient
Sosa,
of the
Rafael Palmeiro, and
Presidential Medal of
Alex
Freedom,
Rodriguez.
and a gentleman in every way.
Joe Thornton missed 2 to 4 weeks.
Hank Aaron was 86. 5 of our 6 living presidents sending condolences. Former President Jimmy Carter, in part, he has been a personal hero to us, a breaker of records and racial barriers. His remarkable legacy will continue to inspire countless athletes and admirers for generations to come.
This from former President George W. Bush. The former home run king wasn't handed his throne. He grew up poor and faced racism as he worked to become one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Hank never let the hatred he faced consume him.
Former President Bill Clinton, baseball has lost one of its greatest heroes. America has lost an inspiring role model and philanthropist. And I have lost a wonderful friend.
Former President Barack Obama, Hank Aaron was one of the best baseball players we've ever seen and one of the strongest people I've ever met. Whenever Michelle and I spent time with Hank and his wife Billy, we were struck by their kindness, generosity, and grace, and were reminded that we stood on the shoulders of a previous generation of trailblazers.
President Joe Biden, it wasn't just about watching a gifted athlete master his craft on the way to the Hall of Fame career as one of the greatest to ever play the game. It was that each time Henry Aaron rounded the bases, he wasn't just chasing a record, he was helping us chase a better version of ourselves. Our celebration of the life of Hank Aaron continues later on SportsCenter.